The Town of Weld's new commercial site plan review ordinance was passed into law by majority vote at the 2026 annual town meeting. To read the ordinance in its entirety, you can go to the town website, click on News, open the 2025 annual town report, and start reading on page 62. If you have questions about what the ordinance means, they may have been answered in discussion at the meeting.
Is there any discussion about this? Yes, Mr. Grant. And where's our microphone lady? Thank you.
Thank you. I can't support this article the way it's written at the moment. My problem is large commercial projects. I think we've limited ourselves greatly. Any project over 20,000 square feet, we're saying is a large commercial project, and we're saying that can't be seen anywhere off the property within the town well. Now, that puts some little limits on things, and another one is merely cumulative size of all project structures exceeding 6,000 square feet. The way I read this, when it comes to the fire article on building, we can't do it because it's going to be a large commercial project and it won't be accepted. I think this, people are all worried. I think this large commercial project and anything being seen within on the ground within the site well should be taken out. Okay.
Thank you. Any other comments? Yes.
I just want to clarify that the fire station is not a commercial building. It's not commercial. Commercial is like for retail and it will be a municipal building, so that will not affect It's a municipal building, not a commercial building.
It doesn't say this in that article. It says exclusions, and it doesn't say town building.
Because that's not necessary. The word commercial in a dictionary does not cover municipal buildings. So you can write, that will be pages upon pages and sections, but that's not commercial because it doesn't make any money.
I have a question, if you don't mind then. If the state park would decide to build a large building, would they need a building permit from the town of Weld?
No, not under this. Not under the commercial site review.
Okay.
But they do go through the
They
planning.
have a building permit maybe, but not under this, not.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments?
Lori, do you want to repeat that? So the question was that if the state park builds a building, would it be covered under this ordinance? It would not be, because it's not a commercial building. It would still need a building permit, but that's a separate ordinance.
Any other comments over here?
Maybe I read it wrong and don't understand it, but if I wanted to open up Smitty's small engine again, I would have to go through this process. Is that correct?
Can anybody answer that? Yes. Bring here.
Yeah, Carol Coleman, part of the committee. Smitty's was on your own property.
But it wasn't my residence. It is a outbuilding.
Yep.
So according to this, I would have to go through the process because it is in a shed and it is not my residence.
It's on your property where you live.
We have one conversation. Who's going to respond to that?
Okay.
Who would like to respond to that? To the question at hand. Yes, Lisa, I think. Would you like to? Who wants to respond to that?
Dirk.
Yes, you can respond to his question.
It's a commercial, what we're trying to do with this ordinance is to have a process so the planning board has some guidance when people want to do commercial development in town. Right
I
now,
understand that's the plan.
but that's what this tries to do. And so if you were to open up a commercial outfit, this allows you to know where you plot for it, who looks at it, or what sort of information they need to have. And then it gives the planning board some guidance on determining whether that fits with the town's goals, as we've been talking about with the old comprehensive plan, a small town focused on senior beauty, but also, available and useful for everyone. So it's trying to have commercial development that's sensible, safe, consistent with everyone's values in town. It's a huge compromise bill because there's people who wanted no restrictions at all on commercial development. There are people who wanted no commercial development at all, and you can't have both. You've got to have somewhere in between, and the whole town has been working on this to different degrees for a couple of years to try and come up with a middle-of-the-road approach so that there is some sensible guidelines for people who want to develop commercially. They'll know what kind of town they're investing in, and they'll know what kind of businesses are not going to be competing with them, because we're not going to have a fireworks testing factory next door to somebody who wants to do something quiet cafe. So I think the ordinance as it's written, I agree with the earlier comment, it pretty much rules out big box stores. That can't come in. We give them an exception if they can make it hidden, but for all practical purposes, big structures like that are not going to be able to get through the planning process. Small structures, absolutely. By what you've described, I see no reason why that would be approved, but you would have to apply. It's just like you would do it for a building permit. You have to apply to the planning committee. They would look at your proposal for commercial development. I see nothing in this article that would say what you've described as your business runs afoul of anything. But that would be up for the planning board to decide. And you can look through those guidelines to determine what those are.
I think Mr. Grant has a comment.
So if I wanted to build a laundromat, let's say, and I had a piece of land 3/4 of an acre, I wouldn't be able to unless I could hide it. Because that's what you're saying, because you're saying anything over 20,000 square feet, which is less than half an acre. It's got to be hidden, it can't be seen from anywhere in town. That's my problem with that.
The size of that was a huge.
Can I just get you would like to respond to that?
The size limit where we try to keep commercial development to small buildings was a huge discussion. Nobody knows the perfect number. It's gone up from the original plan of 3,000 square feet to get up to 6,000. So somebody who's got good at math, tell me if this building is more than 2,000 square feet. I think a laundromat would be able to fit well under 6,000 square feet.
No, but the size of a lot, it says can't be more than half an acre. Less than half an acre.
No. I don't think so, but everybody else has it.
Right here, Mr. Moderator, right here.
Chris, I want to answer your question. So I'm not familiar with Smitty's.
It's a shed.
Before I got here, 12 years ago, but it's on your property. Okay, if you look at page 61, under the term residence, and this applies for everybody. Personal residence containing fewer than 5 dwelling units, as well as non-commercial structures and buildings apparent to such residents, such as garages, storage buildings, personal workshops, barns, driveways, walls, fences, and landscaping. This ordinance allows you to have business on your residence without having to fill out, comply with the large commercial ordinance. We want people in this town to have businesses and make our town a great place to live. So this would not apply to you. If you are putting something on your private property where you live, then this ordinance will not apply to you. You will just, if you need to have a regular building permit because it's a new structure, you would fill out for a regular building permit, not the commercial building permit. Does that make sense?
Yes, Bridget. And over here, we need the mic. What do we were gonna give you a workout for that?
Chris, to answer your question further, I agree with Lisa that you would not have to apply. But I think the reason is under exclusions that's on page 60. Then item 4 there says, small commercial activities on residential property owned and operated by the occupants of such residence, including but not limited to sap harvesting, syrup production, vending of produce or animal products, including but not limited to. So I believe that a small garage would be included because it's a small commercial activity on residential property. So I think that your concern, I think it is covered here, that you wouldn't need to go through this process. But I also think that Mr. Graham is correct, that the limitations of 6,000 square feet and the 20,000 square foot project size, half an acre essentially, are very restricted. That if anybody, the way I read the description of the project site means the location of the project property that will be subject to the site use or will be the location of the project structure. So is that, it's kind of vague. Is that the plot of land that the person owns that this enterprise is going to be placed on? If so, then a half acre is quite restricted.
Anybody respond to that? Yes.
It's only intended to cover. Sorry, I turned it off. This switch.
We can just leave the button on. The battery should last, hopefully, unless we're here till tomorrow morning.
The property limit, the 20,000, is for the commercial use of property. So if you own 10,000 acres and you develop 10,000 square feet of it for parking lot and then signage, access road, or whatnot, it's only the 10,000 square feet that would count, not the 10,000 acres. So it's not the size of the property it's located on, it's the part of the property that's been developed commercially, even though it might not have a structure, something like a parking lot.
Any other comments, questions, concerns? Mike?
I don't see that what he's saying in here. I see 20,000 square feet, and as long as it's less than a half an acre, I'm going to vote against it because I just think that's too restrictive. I think you cover everything without that, you know. I think, you know, if somebody's going to try to build a Walmart in here, you've got all sorts of things that you can prevent it from without having that in it. But I think 20,000 square feet is way too restrictive. If I buy a piece of land that's 3/4 of an acre, then I can't do it, you know, and to do anything with it.
All right. Are we ready for a vote?